Thanks again for joining the PIHRA member orientation, January 2023 edition. I'm still getting used to 2023, and to be honest, I've been a little under the weather, so I'm hoping that this orientation goes well. And we spend the next 60 minutes making sure that you get the information you need about PIHRA and getting the most out of your membership. Before I begin, just some housekeeping. Please, this is the first time we've done a Zoom meeting format. I have a lot to cover, so I just ask that you stay muted until you're asked to unmute, just to make sure that we can cover everything. And also, to be honest, just for me to get used to that, you have the ability to unmute. So just stay muted. We are recording this, so that will cut down on any background noise and any unnecessary interruptions. In addition, I am going to be sharing some slides with you. There's approximately 26 slides. So no need to copy the things down from the slides. We will also, the slides will accompany a email with a lot of different URLs based on your needs and what you communicate with us that you're interested in. So it's usually me or my partner here, Elisette, who you see. I'm going to pin us both. And she's going to have a chance to introduce herself in a moment. So that email will come from me later this afternoon, or Elisette, and we'll have a lot of information there. I will do my best to answer all your specific questions. There may be a moment where I need to investigate that question, or it might be so specific to you that I might ask you to contact me so we can set up a separate time and get something on the calendar so we can speak specifically about your needs and how PIHRA can help, or if I can refer you to something. I also put my LinkedIn URL in the chat. Please start networking. PIHRA is all about community, so put in your LinkedIn so that we can start networking and connecting immediately, because that's what's really important for us. So with the housekeeping out of the way, I also encourage you to chat us up. Me and Elisette, who again, you're gonna meet in a second, we're gonna be monitoring the chat and the Q&A box. So feel free, I'm trying to really monitor how many people unmute themselves. So put something in the chat if you want to say something out loud. If we have time, I'll definitely ask you to unmute. But let's use the chat and the Q&A box for the primary channel for you to ask questions and interact with me. Again, that doesn't mean that you won't be able to unmute. It's just that I'm kind of going to try to keep that that lower and more controlled, at least today, because this is the first time I'm doing this. So let's get going with the agenda. What are we going to cover today? So I'm in the welcome portion, if you haven't noticed, and I'm going to give you a general update on where PIHRA is at right now. Also, we're going to do a poll, because really this is about you and your needs and what you're curious about in terms of PIHRA, how you're going to get the value you need out of the membership fee that you paid, because I get it. Money's not everyone has extra $200, $150 to spend on this. So I want to make sure that you get the value you need from this membership. So we're going to poll you. You're going to be able to give us your top item that you want to information that you want to walk away with. So we'll do that. Then I'm going to introduce myself a little bit more. My name is Lily Arguello. You see that on the tile. But I'm going to introduce myself a little bit more, also introduce you to members of my team. I'm going to let Elisette introduce yourself. I might even I think there's a new staff member with PIHRA here with us. I might have her unmute and introduce herself, introduce you to some members of our board and so forth. Then I'm going to do a quick overview about the association, talk about member benefits, the learning and networking opportunities that you have, and then just wrap up. So I may run through some things a little quicker based on what you tell me from the poll. Now, if you're like, hey, I don't just want to walk away with one piece of information that's specific to me, just put, those other items that you really need to walk away with in the chat, and I'll make sure to cover those. I'll make notes and spend more time on those things that you tell me you want to know. Because again, it may not seem like we have a lot to cover, but there's a lot to cover. I usually do fill up the 60 minutes. So let's go into this general update piece. I see some things in the chat. Yay, you guys are networking. Wonderful. Thank you. It's great. By the way, I am coming from you remote. PIHRA is remote right now since March 2020. We did the work at home. Obviously, we're not in a pandemic phase today, but there are people still getting sick. And because we decided that we were just as effective and efficient working remotely, we decided to save some money and not go back into a office experience. So I'm working remotely from downtown LA, and feel free to share where you're working from, or if you're remote or on site as well. So since even, to be honest, I just got infected with COVID. I know there's a flu going around. So it continues to be our priority to make sure that our staff and our members and our HR community at large in Southern California is healthy and safe and has the resources that they need. So again, that's why we've been remote. We're really excited. During the pandemic, we went virtual. So now we had been doing webinars pre-pandemic, but now we're hosting up to 3 webinars per month, and they're free for members, which is fantastic and a great way for you to get consistent and affordable HR professional development. So really excited about that. Currently, many of our chapters are meeting in person. So I'm going to give you a list by the end of our 60 minutes of events that you can attend, both virtual events and in-person events. Because I know some of you, and I do too, I kind of miss being around people, especially since I've been sick the last couple of days, miss being around people. So I get it. You might want to go to some of our events, and I'm going to give you a list of those. And if you have any questions about that. Like I said, I have been a little sick, so I might mute myself to cough, which I'm going to do right now. Hold on one second. This flu is no joke. So before I move on to the next slide, I want to make sure that you always go to the PIHRA calendar at PIHRA.org. That's where you're going to get the most accurate information about our chapter meetings. We had these chapter microsites, and there is some good information on the chapter sites, and I'm going to get into the chapters in a moment. But for our meetings, please go to the calendar, because, for example, the PIHRA Woodland Hills chapter site might say they meet every Thursday, the second Thursday of the month, et cetera, et cetera. That might not be the case. So always go to the PIHRA calendar to confirm that they are having a meeting and to register for it in advance so that you get the member rate or the rate that is associated with your member type. So I'm going to just check to see if there's any, lots of URL networking. Yay. Perfect. Wonderful. Okay, let's keep going. So this is when we run a poll. Elisa, can you launch that poll for me? Again, just select that one item. Here we go. So what is that one pressing question that you want to have a response to before you leave this 60 minutes? So please click on that. I see one person has, okay, let's see if we can get 100% participation here. All right, I'm glad you guys are interacting with the poll. A lot of people are interested in HR certification. Great. That is great. I was certified in early 2022, I think. This is all kind of morphed into one. PIHRA seminars is another one. Less so PIHRA chapters, monthly meetings. We'll talk a little bit about that. benefits. Wow, a lot of you interested in certification. Wonderful. So I don't have a slide on that, but when we get into the learning, I think everyone's participated. We could end the poll and just share it. So here are the results. 44% interested in HR certification. Next is PIHRA seminars and seminars and conferences. I'm going to talk a little bit about our upcoming conferences, and then PIHRA benefits. By the way, we'll cover all of these things. And again, if I don't cover your specific questions, either ask a more specific question in the chat, or we could schedule some time afterwards, maybe next week, so we can discuss it in more detail. All righty. So let me just spend a little bit of time introducing myself, and we'll go through this pretty quickly. I'm here in the middle, Lily Arguello. I have an MBA. Like I said, I got certified through SHRM. I passed the SHRM SCP certification. Gosh, I think it was, I studied all 2021. I have to look back at my notes. It might have been January 2021 already that I was certified. I'm sorry, the last 2-3 years have been quite interesting. But I'm willing to share my experience with the HR certification. That exam is no joke. So when we get to learning and networking, I'm going to talk to you about my journey. The HR certification journey is very unique because it really depends on you and your experience and your educational background. So again, I'll get into that a little bit more. I came to PIHRA from the Girl Scouts of Greater Los Angeles, doing membership building through partnerships in the inner city of Los Angeles, mostly focused in the Spanish-speaking communities. But I actually have a background in organizational development. I started my career as a junior consultant working for a professor at the Anderson Graduate School of Management, and kind of worked my way up and ended up facilitating strategic planning, facilitating management and leadership development, training, corporate culture studies, organizational studies. So PIHRA is a great marriage. This role I have is a great marriage of my OD background and my background in the association world with the Girl Scouts. So I love working with PIHRA. I love working with people. My passion is helping people and organizations be successful. So please always reach out to me. I'd rather you email me. You can always call me, but I'm really good with email. But if you ever get frustrated, like I'm not seeing what I need to see on the PIHRA website, or I can't do this, or I can't do that, email me right away. I'd rather you email me and let me know so I can help you promptly instead of you being frustrated and upset. So email me, email Lisette, or call us. These are all our phone numbers, and we're again going to send you these slides. So I'm going to mute myself so I can allow Lisette to introduce herself.
Thank you, Lily. Hi, everyone. I'm so glad that I can see some faces. As Lily mentioned, this is our first time doing a meeting for our member orientation. So it's exciting. I'm glad that we get to see you. And again, welcome. My name is Lisette Sapien. I'm the membership coordinator here at PIHRA. Lily and I work closely together to serve you and assist you. I'm usually the first person that you speak to if you dial the main number, which is the number under my photo. We're very accessible if you ever need any assistance with membership benefits, HR certification questions, meetings, volunteering. We're here to help and get you through it. I'm also going to be monitoring the chat box. So from time to time, Lily and I will be pausing so that we can answer your questions. So yes, welcome, and we hope that you get the best out of the webinar today. Thank you, Lily.
Great, sorry for the delay. Thank you, Elisa. Elisa's my right hand. She's the first person you're going to talk to usually. So, and she's so kind and willing to help. So please, like I said, reach out to her. The other person I want on this slide that I want to introduce you to is Matthew Pallett. So something that's important for you to know about PIHRA as an association is that we're primarily volunteer led. So that means that while we do have a staff, our staff right now, we're rebuilding our staff from the pandemic. Pre-pandemic, we had 11 staff people. Now I think we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or 8. So we're rebuilding. So we need our volunteers. So this is a great place and a very low risk place for you to hone your leadership skills and your planning skills to volunteer. And we could talk a little bit. No one was interested in that in the poll, but it is really important to us. And honestly, as you grow in your career, whether you're growing your own business or you're wanting to grow and grow vertically as an HR leader, volunteering is really important. And if you're interested, we could talk separately about that. But Matt Pallett is my right hand on the board. He's a volunteer leader. He's also actually an insurance broker. So he is very accessible. He, even though he's on the broker side of things, health benefit broker side, he really has his finger on what HR needs. So he's a great partner of mine and a great advocate for our HR community. Before I move on from this site, I am so happy to have JJ Smith with us right now, and she is a new hire. And JJ, do you want to unmute and just introduce yourself quickly?
Sure, absolutely. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is JJ Smith. As Lily said, I am new to the PIHRA team. I will be directing education. So exciting for me to see that one of the first things you're interested in are those certifications. So, and just different webinars and things. So I'll definitely look forward to getting to know you, finding out what your needs and desires and wants are so that we can providing the education opportunities that you're looking for. It's nice to meet you all.
Yay, thank you, JJ. I'm so excited to have JJ come. She has a background in curriculum development, working on the career services side. I'm really happy to partner with her to make sure our members get the professional development that they need. So you have now met JJ, linked in with her. And so if you have any, sorry, JJ, putting you on the spot. If you have any suggestions for webinars or programs or something happening at the conference, just send JJ a message. All right.
Yes, please.
So let's go really quickly. I'm going to go through an overview of the association really quickly. I'm not going to read all this, but we're here to serve the HR community in Southern California and more broadly in California. And we do that through professional development. Professional development, and what I like to say here is that I think PIHRA offers the most consistent, affordable, and impactful professional development for HRs in California. So we also what also is very important for us is to build. We do it through our 17 chapters and 3 specialty groups. Is a place for you to build community on a local level. We are the largest SHRM affiliate in the country. I know that because I see the reports. I suspect that we're the largest SHRM affiliate in the world. I do know SHRM is huge, and we're a chapter in good standing with them. I know they have an affiliate in China and in India, but I still think we're bigger. Still, even after the pandemic, we're bigger than them. So really, we're here to make sure that you grow and you specialize and build mastery in the HR specialty areas that are interested in you, and then that you network. It's so important to network. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that as we get into the learning and development piece, but that's just how we exist. So here's a couple players I want to connect you with. Tara Fournier, she is the president, again, a volunteer president, the 2023 and 2024 president of the PIHRA board. So from an association perspective, we have a volunteer board and also our chapters, which I'm going to show you a map of our chapters. Each of our chapters has a board. So that's a great way for you to volunteer. See, my dog thinks that's a great way as well. I don't know if you can hear him. Also want to introduce you here on this slide to Rafael Rivera. He is our CEO. my boss. He's a staff person, and I really credit him for taking PIHRA to the next level. He's been with PIHRA now 10, 11 years, and he rebranded our PIHRA annual conference to the California HR Conference. It's happening in May. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a moment. And really credit him for building a great team and getting us through the pandemic in a viable way. So feel free to reach out to him on LinkedIn. He loves LinkedIn. So if you ever want to reach out to him, give him feedback, tell him how wonderful this webinar was, you can always reach out to him that way. Here's some demographics. Now, these do need to be updated. Right now, we're right around 3,600 members. Again, the pandemic really created a situation where it was constricted. A lot of our HR community, some of them retired, some of them got so overwhelmed they weren't able to renew their membership. Some just changed jobs and we're having trouble locating them. So we're in that process of rebuilding that. But our community, our distribution list is much larger than this 3,700 number. Right here, it says 43. We had gotten in 2019, right before the pandemic, we got up to 4,800 members. So really close to 5,000 members. So we have a really strong extended community, even today, beyond our members. Our members represent right around over 2,500 organizations. One day I did the calculation again back in 2019, and I calculated that our HR members impacted more than 2.5 million people in the workplace. So you're really important. Our HR community is really important. It's not just about impacting an organization or, you're impacting people's lives. And that really came to more clarity in the pandemic. I mean, you're working with people who are having to deal with childcare, or caretakers, or, are sick. That really kind of gives you a visual of how our community impacts society at large. Right around 37% of our members are HR certified. So being HR certified is important. I'll get into that more. Right around 42% of our membership base are at the HR business partner, the generalist level, and then 26% are at the HR director and above level. Right around, and this is these numbers may fluctuate from year to year, but 5% of our membership are what I call service providers. Those are people like Matt Pallets that I introduced you to. They are the insurance brokers, the financial advisors, the recruiting folks, the wellness consultants, and they don't fear them. Most of the service providers who are longtime members and or volunteer leaders in our community, they're about building relationships, and they're great connectors. If you ever go to an in-person meeting or even a webinar, they're the people that are going to know about that HR director opening in your community. So, I just know that they really help me reach out to our members and stay connected because it's part of their job. Last thing I'll talk about here is the top 4 industries represented by our members are the consulting industry, healthcare, education, and manufacturing. So I don't see any questions, so I'm just going to keep going. Again, feel free to ask questions as we go. This is a slide of our footprint, our geographic footprint. We have members throughout the United States, but most of our members are in Southern California. We have 17 chapters. I'm just going to kind of note a couple. Our PIHRA South Orange County chapter is our largest chapter. They meet out of Irvine right now. Since the pandemic, a lot of our chapters are struggling to find a venue that is appropriate for them. So South OC is meeting out of Andre's restaurant, I think out of Irvine. They are not meeting consistently every month. Pre-pandemic, all of our chapters met. Most of our chapters met once a month at a predetermined time. There's someone that is not muted. Can you mute yourself? Let me see if I can mute yourself. Okay, great. And so South OC is our largest chapter. They can have up to 40, 50 people at one of their in-person meetings. PIHRA Los Angeles is our second largest chapter, and PIHRA North OC is our third largest chapter. We have chapters as far north as the PIHRA Antelope Valley. They meet out of, I think it's Lancaster now. PIHRA West LA. They are not meeting as consistently, but they can meet anywhere from Brentwood to West LA. They're still finding a spot. And we go as far east as Coachella Valley, and they meet out of Palm Desert. Each of these chapters has their own board, so they're quite autonomous with respect to the professional development that they offer, the webinars they offer. A lot of them do socials as well. I encourage you to go to the PIHRA calendar to see if there is a meeting happening close to you. In terms of what to expect at a meeting, usually, for example, Burbank Glendale meets every month. They meet out of the Amurano Hotel, I think in Burbank, and they meet for lunch. And basically you'll either register in advance. I always encourage you to register on our website in advance to get the member rate. Or you'll check in, they'll have some networking, they'll have a meal as well. So there is an additional cost for the in-person meetings because there's usually a meal. And then there'll be an hour to an hour and a half of professional development. So if you are HR certified, you can receive recertification credit. So that's kind of a typical meeting. And I think any questions about the chapters? You could either put it in the chat or if you want to unmute yourself really quickly. Okay, one of our specialty groups is the PIHRA Foundation. They're a separate entity, 501c3, and they are, again, the impact of the pandemic is still, we're still experiencing that. They're in a leadership kind of re-engineering phase, but they have hosted silent auctions to collect money to provide scholarships, whether you're a member or not a member. I think they just, their scholarship window just closed in December, and they provide scholarships for people who are earning their HR degree or who want to get their HR certification. So again, they have a fall application window and they have a spring application window. So you probably want to look out for that. Their URL is here, and you'll get the slide. So you could have that in your notes for later if you are interested in applying for a scholarship. We also have an emerging leaders group. That is also, they're having some elections for that group. So each of these groups have their own board as well. But this group exists to engage and provide resources to people who are early entrants into the HR career or who are wanting to transition into an HR career. Originally, we called this group the PIHRA Young Professionals. It was kind of modeled after something that a lot of the SHRM affiliates were doing, and it was for a certain age group. But we decided we didn't want to work that way. And so this is a pretty inclusive group. Again, it could be for anybody who is interested in HR or transitioning into HR. They are regrouping, so they don't have any upcoming events right now, but it is a great group. And if you want to volunteer, I could definitely introduce you to them. So this was third on your list as high priority to find out more about. So when I speak to our members, there are three categories of benefits that they talk about. And one is this idea of connecting with people. And I call it building your HR board of advisors. I've heard a volunteer call it building your HR Fab Five. People that go to our in-person events really build lifelong friendships through PIHRA. And I really think that's what differentiates us from a lot of the other associations. Our community is very warm. One of my previous volunteer leaders was, and actually I was a PIHRA member before I ever dreamed of being on staff. And my first chapter experience was PIHRA Long Beach. And I attended, and I still am friendly with the people that I met at that very first meeting. We go out and we hang out during the conference. And so it's just really important. As a consultant, I remember working with the HR directors and above, and, you know, it's a tough job. You're dealing with a lot of sensitive and confidential information, and you're trying to make decisions that are the right thing to do, and counsel CEOs and CFOs. And it's not an easy job. And sometimes you need someone from the outside to bounce ideas off. Obviously, you know, withholding strict confidentiality. But I really encourage you, if you haven't built your team of HR professionals that you can use as a sounding board, please do that. It's really important, whether you're, you know, dealing with a sexual harassment or a difficult employee that you just are having trouble finding the right path with, or you're looking for that next best opportunity for your career. Really build that network. Don't wait. So that's the number one. That's priceless. Then this is where you're going to really build HR mastery through our professional development, through the HR certification process. And I think that we offer the most valuable in terms of impactful professional development for the lowest cost. So please check out our seminars and conferences, and I'll talk a little bit more about those. And then we have this online tool and resource area called the PIHRA Workplace. It's powered by Mineral. This next slide is an overview of the 3 top things that Mineral provides, and this is all included in your membership. So you get PIHRA Comply. It is an award-winning compliance center with hundreds of sample policies, an employee handbook builder, a salary comparison tool, job description builder, webinars. I mean, there's so much in there. Please note that it is through Mineral. So we do have a single sign-on ability from our platform, but I know sometimes it becomes a challenge to get on this platform. Please don't, if you're having a challenge, email me and Elisette right away. We'll get you on there. We have back-end ability to get you on there. We'll get on the phone with you, walk you through it, because it's so valuable. Also included is PIHRA Live. It's a basically HR hotline that is staffed by senior certified HR people. If you have a quick question, you just want to get a second opinion about an employment law that's coming up, call them. They're available Monday through Friday. I believe it's 5 a.m. to 5 p.m., definitely 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. And they'll answer all your questions. They may ask you just to validate your membership, your name, your company name. But once you're in there, you can call them. They usually answer right on the call, and they'll follow up with you via email on any documentation that will help you. They're not attorneys. They're HR professionals who, you know, monitor HR events and what's happening on an ongoing basis. So it's a great way to get a quick answer that kind of complements your own research. This is new, PIHRA Learn. This is an expanded benefit for you. You have access to a online learning management system that you can use to train your employees. So it's not just training for you. It's included now. The sexual harassment training, the mandatory sexual harassment training and the mandatory safety training is not included, but you can upgrade for that. But there's hundreds of harassment types of training. There's customer service training. And all that can be, the core courses that are included can be found on the PIHRA.org/workplace. So just the PIHRA Learn, if you were to purchase that on your own, it's worth anywhere from $6,000 to $8,000 per year, and you get that included. So those are awesome benefits. I don't see any questions, so I'm going to keep going. Any questions? Where am I at time? I have time. All right, let's keep going. Volunteering, I talked about. None of you are really interested. I definitely highly recommend it. If you want to gain visibility in the HR community, it's about volunteering. This is how people get to know you. And my saying is, it's not who you know, it's who knows you. So that that volunteering helps you demonstrate your work ethic, the quality of your work, the quantity of your work, your ability to manage time. And so I know that a lot of our, especially more junior HR professionals, they found work through their volunteerism at PIHRA and gotten the jobs that they're really excited about through this community. So just thought I'd add that. Okay, learning and networking at PIHRA. So this, like I said, I don't have a slide on HR certification, but I want to hear from you. So this is a time for you to speak. What is it that you're interested in learning about in terms of HR certification? Because I could talk about all kinds of different things. So I really need to hear from you. It's like, are you interested in how that can help you in your career, or what certification is best for you? Please let me know. All right, great, Faith. So what support is available for studying? So PIHRA does offer preparation courses. I took one of our preparation courses. They're anywhere from 3 work week courses to 12-week courses. I suggest doing the longer courses. Again, I did the SHRM SCP and SHRM CP certification prep courses. Those are not enough. So in terms of support, I think that going to the structured prep course is important. Richard Dawson, who is, I think, one of the best HR certification course instructors in California or in the United States, he leads you through a pretty comprehensive review of the exam material. And more importantly, he teaches you how to think like the people who designed the exam. And that's really important, that you learn how to think how the exam works. But you can't, what he also encourages you to do is do your own studying. I am not a great test taker, so that's the other thing you need to think about. Are you a great test taker? Did you do really well in the SAT or the ACT? If you're a great test taker, this might be easier for you. I am not. So I had to read every piece of material. By the way, I thought the SHRM learning system was fantastic. I used their books as reference materials. So I read every piece of printed material. I actually developed my own study groups, and that's why I really liked being in the class, because I got to meet people who were going through the same process at the same time as I was. So I set up my own study group. So I really encourage you to take an active role in studying. For me, just taking the prep courses, even when I took the GMAT course, it just wasn't enough. I had to do my own studying. I had to develop my own study groups. And for me, because I'm not a great test taker, I gave myself more time to study before I took the exam. So I hope that was clear. I think that we do the prep courses. During the prep courses, you get the background of the material and how the test is designed, but you need to be very assertive with respect to allocating additional time to read and to create your own study groups. I see some things in the chat. So a prep course is online. Right now, prep courses are online. We may have some in-person toward the middle of the year. I'm not quite sure. I don't think they're up on the website yet. And JJ, if you know any more about that, but right now they've been all online. Oh, great, Debbie, you did the prep class too. Yes, I passed on the, by the way, some people don't pass this exam, but the SHRM certification, the SCP, it has, the last I saw, it was like a 56% pass rate. So it's as tough as the bar exam. And I was very nervous about passing. I think having my MBA also helped with that. But again, Richard Dawson was great in all the studying I did. So yes, I love Richard Dawson as well.
Lily.
Yes, hi.
Hey, it's JJ, everybody. Just as an FYI, we did just last week confirm Richard Dawson to lead all of our prep courses again. They are online. I will put a link in the chat for everyone so that they know our webpage. We are in the process of updating that with new dates, but I'll give you the link so that you know where to go so that you can register.
Thank you, JJ, so much. Someone asked about the workload, and I hope I'm answering your question. I think it's Veronica, yes. I calculated, I studied 150 hours for this exam over 9 months. That included the in-class prep course time. So hopefully that gives you a sense. I studied one night a week, and then one with my study group, one night a week, and one Saturday morning, and then reading. So easily 150 hours. You're right, Debbie, maybe even more. So hopefully that answers your question. That's a great question, Veronica. I think that that's important.
That's helpful. I'm trying to kind of determine, that's been my biggest hesitation. I want to do certification, but I want to really understand what I'm getting myself into with my full workload at work, you know, my load at home. I'm a mom, the family load, and what's that going to leave me to balance as far as like the study load and working towards certification. So that's really helpful.
Yeah, no, I heard you. And I think that, the pandemic, when we were working from home, was a perfect time. I think a lot of us went and like, well, let's do this now. So, and then what I love about Richard is very honest. And he always, prompts people like, instead of going to the movies, look at their flashcards. Instead of going to the beach, remember, you're going to pay for it. If you go to the beach with your family, you got to stay home and read. So there's really some trade-offs there that you got to make. But, and no one asked this yet, you can increase your salary. Definitely if you pass the senior certified. So HRCI is one certification agency. They do the SPHR and the PHR. And SHRM does the SHRM CP and the SHRM SCP. There's research out there, data that shows that if you pass the senior certified one, you can increase your salary by upwards to $20,000 a year. I got a bump when I passed as well. So, and I did it for the credibility of it. When we send out the notes, gosh, I'm running out of time because I can't talk about this all day long because it's a kind of mystifying process, but I highly encourage you to do it. You may want to talk to your family about, hey, I'm not going to be able to do these things. I'm going to need support at the house. And then, put yourself in the mindset of doing that. But it is a payoff. There's a payoff to it. And not only just financial, but I just built my self-esteem. I have this imposter syndrome all my life, but it really helped me feel like, wait, I do know what I'm talking about. And it helps you build credibility with employers and with other people because it is a demanding exam. And, I've met people also who study for 3 months and pass, which I'm very jealous of. But so that happens as well. So unless there's any more, because you guys, a lot of you talked about HR certification. So that's where I'm spending a lot of time here. Yeah, you could go to the beach and review flashcards too. But I don't know, I like going to the beach and relaxing, but yes, you would take them everywhere. And you could also do it on your phone, which I did too, like right before bed. It's Quizlet, there's flashcards on Quizlet. So there's a lot out there. You just need to get aggressive and go for it. But definitely put yourself in the mindset. So I talked a lot about that. I said it a couple times already. We provide virtual learning, chapter meetings have learning opportunities, a conference which is coming up in May 8th through 10th. Please consider getting that on your training calendar and allocating some of your training budget. And maybe it's you and a couple people from your HR team to go. Pre-pandemic, we had like 80 learning sessions at a 3-day conference. I think that we're going to have a 2.5-day conference this year. I don't think there's going to be 80 learning sessions, but you'll be able to receive up to 16 recertification or 18 recertification credits on site, and then on demand, you'll even have the opportunity for more learning. So when you register for the in-person conference, you'll also get all of the sessions on demand as well. Also, great place to meet people. So not only are you learning, but you're having a fantastic time. Right now, we're looking at some entertainment, and I think we're going to have some exciting entertainment options as well. We also have specialty programs. An example is PIHRA Real HR. We have a HR Talent and Tech and Strategic Leader. I'm doing a Real HR in March, on March 30th. And so there's some additional association events besides our annual conference, which again, we'll talk about a little bit more in a second. Members get the member rate. The conference, Debbie, is at the Long Beach Convention and Entertainment Center this year, which is always a really cool venue. So have you gone before, Debbie? You look familiar. You can unmute if you like.
Yes, I've been.
Great, great, great. Yes, I love our conference. And, you know, it's funny because me and Elisa usually are up on our feet for 12, 15 hours or more during our conference, but I love it. It's the best time of year for us. It's great to see you all, go to all the learning sessions and the receptions, and it's just a great bonding experience. All right, 2023, all of our webinars are free for members. So that right there is like $300 and $350 worth of value for you. And you could do it in your pajamas at home. Usually, I think we are sending out recordings, maybe not as consistently as we are, but you could always join live and and just get the certification credit. I know we have some coming up, which I'm going to review in a moment. So they're all free. Great way, again, to keep that up. Although I don't see it, I think there's a South OC meeting, but I'm going to review those. But Lisa, if you see any coming up, they might, I think they just had a social, but we could look that up for you really quick.
Yeah, I quickly checked. I didn't see anything on the calendar yet, but I think there are going to be some things coming up for them soon.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah, like I mentioned, South OC and some of our other chapters aren't meeting monthly. They're still kind of regrouping, but I think that they have something coming up. They just had a webinar that they sponsored, I think just yesterday or the other day. Their programs person is an attorney and did a great employment law webinar. So some of our chapters are doing in-person, they're rotating or alternating from an in-person event to a webinar event. Here's one of our seminars of the California Employment Law Update. Now it's happening every October. It used to be in January. So now we're hosting this in October, right after the legislative decisions are made. You can purchase this on demand right now. It's available for another 4 months, I believe. And members, it's $99. Non-members, it's $149. And then you get access to the on-demand sessions for around 4 to 6 months. So if you want to get your, build some mastery in employment law, or just make sure that your organization is not exposed to any recent law updates, you might want to consider to do that. Here's the save to date for the conference. It's happening, like I said, May 8th through the 10th at the Long Beach Convention Center. I think the 8th is a half day of learning, and then the 9th and 10th are full days. And it's just a blast. So really, really think about it and consider attending. I don't think the registration is open yet, but JJ, if I think it's going to be open in the next week or so that you can you register yourself and your team to attend. I'm almost done. Hey, so if you have any questions, we have another 10 minutes, so you can unmute yourself and we could just make sure to answer all of your questions. Here's a list. And I want to challenge you all. I actually have trouble getting motivated to do networking and do in-person events. I just have like this antisocial tendency. I get anxious. But once I'm there, I love it. And I love talking to our volunteer leaders and our members. So if you're like me and you really need the motivation, I have to calendar one networking event per quarter at the very least. So I'll go to a PIHRA event, or I go to any sort of HR event or I contact a former colleague and I have coffee or drinks or dinner with them. It's just really important. And, you know, the pandemic more than anything reminded me of how important it is to stay connected, because you just never know when you're going to need to reach out to someone. It's like, hey, did you know about this? Or, hey, I'm looking for a position. You know, keep me in mind for this. So I'm going to challenge you. Go to one of these events, put it on your calendar, register for it. Next week, PIHRA Burbank Glendale, they meet every month in Burbank. I think someone said they're in Long Beach. An event close to Long Beach right now is February 1st. PIHRA Gateway Cities is having an in-person meeting, and they are really, I'm sorry, I'm out of the picture, but they've been coming out of 2023 meeting every month. So on the 1st, they're having a personal branding training. So they meet out of Cerrito. So not Long Beach, but close enough. Let's see, PIHRA South Bay, they've been alternating between webinars and in-person meetings. So their next webinar is on the 9th, which is the one that I thought, if you're in Riverside area, they're having a social, they're going golfing on the 26th. I'm still a little sick, so I can't go. If you want someone, if you don't want to just go by yourself, or you're like, one of the obstacles for you is like, you don't know anybody, email me. I'll connect you with someone who I know is going to be there. Or if I'm feeling better, I'll meet you there if you're in the LA or Long Beach area, because those are the areas I'm in. I'll meet you there. So get out there. You know, if you're not a PIHRA member, I get it. Maybe PIHRA is not for you. I encourage you to attend a meeting and see, you know, maybe attend the PIHRA Pasadena meeting, the Burbank Glendale meeting. You know, each of our chapters has a different feel for it. So find the community that you like to be in. And if it's not PIHRA, find another community. And, you know, Raphael knows I say this, and he says this too. We just want you to have a community. If it's not PIHRA, find one that's good for you. We want to be there to support you and support your careers. So the way to do this is just to stay connected. So we have a little bit of time. Any questions, or do you feel like I didn't answer any of your questions? Hi, Jessica. Unmute yourself.
Hi, I have a really quick question. I wanted to know if a communication email will be sent out when registration opens for the PIHRA conference in May.
Absolutely. I was just talking to our marketing person, and JJ, I know you're on. I think in the next couple weeks, we're going to be sending out emails about the conference and providing you with a way to register for that. So give us a couple more weeks. There's also going to be an opportunity to volunteer, and the conference volunteer application process will likely start in March and April. So, but I am anticipating in the next couple of weeks that the conference registration opens up. Thank you. Great question. So much. Yeah, I look forward to meeting you if I haven't met you already. That'll be fun. What other questions?
The learning, the resources, the workplace, PIHRA Live, are those concluded with the membership, or are there an additional fee?
Those are included. Oh, okay. So the PIHRA Comply, PIHRA Live, and PIHRA Learn, that's all included. There's some, for example, the Employee Handbook Builder, it's a live builder, but if you need the Spanish version, that's an additional amount. So there's certain things that you might pay a little bit more for. On the PIHRA Learn, if you need the sexual harassment training for your managers, that's mandatory, or there's a mandatory OSHA safety training, those two will be in a little bit of an additional amount. And you can get that information. I could connect you with the right person, or you could go to the platform. Great question, Debbie. Yes, all included.
Thank you.
Great. Any other questions? Wow. Well, this is the first time, I guess, because we don't have a special guest. I'm hoping to involve our special guests in the future. And that could be a volunteer leader from one of our chapters or one of our partners. We're just initiating a partnership with with Pepperdine University. So they're going to have some discounted rates if you want to get your master's degree or your PhD in HR, organizational development. So that's really exciting. But again, like I said, I encourage you to stay connected. Contact me, Ellie Set. Connect with JJ. Connect with each other. Really, can't do this alone. Please don't. If it's not PIHRA, check out HRMA, which is in Los Angeles and Orange County. They have events and they're a good group as well, but check out other organizations that can help support you. Follow us on LinkedIn. Our Twitter's not very active, but you can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We have a forum. I'm actually this year in instituting a new engagement platform, which I'm not going to tell you too much about, but it's kind of like a Facebook interface, and some of our webinars are going to be hosted on there, so that would be really good as well. You see, I have something in the chat. Thank you. Wonderful. I'm so glad you got a lot out of this. This is my contact information. We'll follow up with you in a couple hours with these slides and some links regarding HR certification. You'll be able to read my blog about my process in getting certified. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you so much for joining. Really appreciate seeing all your faces. And again, don't hesitate to reach out to me. Thank you for spending your lunchtime with me. And please allow us to help you get the most out of your PIHRA membership so that you can achieve the goals that you want in your career. Thanks again.